Come on up! Awesome. So good to be here. Thank you, thank you. Who survived the karaoke with Crystal Meth Santa Claus yesterday? Awesome. Oh, that's cool, that's cool. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Guys, if you want to come closer, I think we're all so far and spread it. We're like a community. Let's come together. Get a bit closer here. Come on. There's no need to be shy at the back. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, you don't want to do it. Yeah, come on, still hangover. So you probably have seen a lot of this news. I at least did in the last 12 months or so. Let me ask you a question. Who got laid off in the last 12 months? Oh, yeah, okay. And who knows of friends, who like close friends who got laid off recently? Him, okay. Yeah, so that's a little bit of what we're seeing around, more and more of this. And I'll tell a little bit of my journey up to date, like this year. I worked for Dropbox, for VMware, Wix, and like these are like all fancy big names, so it's easy to talk about them. But this was a very different journey this year, because when I decided to leave Ireland, I was living there for 15 years, I took a leap to join a startup that no one knows about. You're like, what's Persona? Is it like a marketing term? And I had to wait throughout this journey for my visa. And while waiting for the visa, I was reading all the news, and I was like, is it going to happen? Maybe you're going to, what do I do here? Like, do I even change my furniture at home? Do I buy insurance or keep waiting? What do I do? I had no idea. I was waiting a lot. And thankfully, you can see the spoiler. It worked. I got the visa. Yay, I'm here. So I'm now living in San Francisco. But then when you moved into a new city, in a different country, as an immigrant, you have no friends. And that means a lot of things, right? That means no network. It means a bunch more things that you'd see in this presentation here. So I want to address 4 things in this scarcity. So no network, no money, no tech, and no plan. And then we'll see if you're like with me here, okay? Because I think all of us have had a little bit of each of this, maybe a little bit of all of them, who knows. The other thing that can happen a lot is, as you're going through all of this, like I have no friends, I have no network, there's a high risk in this leap of faith that I took, you start to go a down spiral. And I remember yesterday, a lot of you raised their hands about like depression and all. I can imagine that some of you might still be feeling this. I was a little bit in this down spiral when I moved, because I was like, I don't know if I'm meant for this. I'm not sure if this is going to work. And I have to share a little spoiler about how things get worse. I think I'm a terrible community manager. I don't even know if I should have said that. Sorry. Yeah. But I'll tell you why. I have no rituals, no studies, and no focus. The first time I heard the word rituals, I could see like David Spinks with long hair, with candles, maybe like a cross upside down. I was like, what kind of thing is that, man? Like, is this a ritual you're like talking about? I had no idea. I was like, what do you mean by rituals? Like that's a brand that does like, soap and shampoo. Studies, I think most of you, if not all, have some sort of studies that you've published. It's like frameworks, guidebooks, ebooks. You have some way of like teaching people. So you're all very well studied, if not all of you, which is great. I did not, and I hate reading all of this. I'm like, oh my God, I tried, but sorry, Spinks, sorry, Richard, sorry, all. And I'm very distracted. Sorry, I was just being distracted by my phone. I don't have a lot of focus, which is very hard for me to get things done. Because if you're trying to do something and you have no focus, you tend to just daydream a lot. And I had this. But I think I have a couple of good things, maybe, I hope. One of them, I love to solve problems, right? That's hopefully good news. And I love to hustle and own my shit. So can I curse here? I think I can, right? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, so I kind of blipped. But this is very different, and I'll explain you why. A lot of times you see people blaming on technology, plans, budget, team, whatever it is, the economy, for not doing things or like not getting anything done, or maybe not being so good at what they do. But I like to own this. This is a problem, I'm going to own it, I'm going to solve it. Now, okay, that's the intro. That was a little bit about me. So let's get into the actual content, right? I have a bingo card. So you can, if you want to take a picture and then mark down, so I don't have to print. So there's a free space that you can put Serendipity, and then you can get it done. So if someone has said Disney or Apple, I don't know, every time someone says Lego ideas, a dolphin gets hit by a jet ski in Sri Lanka. So don't ever say that Lego ideas community being great. Why is the Lego ideas person never in a talk? Come on, that didn't exist. AI, I know AI is huge, come on. That's going to be a clear check for you all. So yeah, you can use the bingo card here. Now, let's get to the content. Money, I think money tends to be an issue for a lot of us when you talk about it. So budget, being able to purchase things or hire and whatnot. Who has challenges with budgets or money today? Yeah, I do, for sure. Well, at least 15% of you do. And this is a lot of research that you filled out from both CMX and I think ComSur as well. So this is a challenge that I feel we all have. So I promise that today, everything I'm going to share is not going to involve you spending money. So yay, okay? Cool. Awesome. So let's go into the actual 3 problems we have to solve today. No network, no tech, and no plan. So how do we do this? How do we fix this? Let's get network first. Have you heard of the term ICP? ICP is ideal customer profile. Very boring. All of this stuff that I didn't read and didn't study at all. But essentially what this tells you is like, who's the ideal person to buy your product if you work for business? So maybe at CMX, the ICP is a community manager, because that's the profile that will buy a ticket or that will purchase, I don't know, a course or whatever. So maybe that's the ICP for them. But when we talk about communities, there is the ICCP, which is the ideal community customer profile. Okay? And the ICCP may not be the same as the ICP. Yeah. So it can be your ecosystem. It can be a subset of your ICP. Do any of you have best practices on how you actually find your ICCP? You can shout if you want. How do you find your ideal community profile, the members of your community? Anyone? Man, not a lot of community managers here, come on. Okay, not a lot of ideas. So let me share what's mine. And then this is all hypothesis because it's a startup. And I'll explain what this startup does first, and then we'll try and find this together. So what is persona? The simplest way I could find to explain this, and not being super boring, is the Salesforce of identity, meaning it's this business that will collect information from customers, end users, or businesses, verify that against gazillions of databases, and return either an automation or decision for you. So very simple example would be if you need to open a bank account, and they ask for your passport or a driver's license and check that against the databases to check whether you're legit or not. This is what we do. So we run that specific piece. Very, very specific. So quite boring. I'm not sure if there's a community of that, right? But that's persona, right? So what's the ICCP and ICP at persona? First, people in the compliance world. Who works with compliance here? No one, right? Yeah, I knew. Very boring. I had no idea what compliance does. I was like, this is such a term that was so far from my reality. It still is. Head of fraud, what do you do? You're like the mastermind of thieves, and I don't know, how do you product managers know this a little bit, and founders. It's like, I kind of know this a little bit more than anyone else, because I did have a company, so I think founders can be my ICCP. Hypothesis. So I was like, out of all of this, which is the one I'm most likely to engage with and have a little bit to say and to share, and maybe provide value? So maybe this is the one. Let's try that out. How do I connect with them? I know no one. I need to meet these people. Where are the founders? I need to find my customers, right? So there's a couple of people who are using the product. And then meet prospects. Because I need to find if my ICCP is around the ecosystem, if they're a subset, or if they're entire ICP. Does it make sense? Yes? Okay, cool. So how do I do that? Very simple. Okay, meeting people, meetups. There's no better way to meet people than physically showing up and talking to them. There's no better way to talk to customers than asking for a few minutes from their time. And don't throw this 1 hour or 30 minutes calendar thing. That's boring. Do 50 minutes or even 5 if you can. You literally send an email saying, hey, it looks like you've been using our product for a while. That's great. Do you have 15 minutes? I'm working on this community thing here, an experiment. Would like to get your thoughts. Simple as that. They'll always do that. And then meeting prospects. And how do you do that? You go elsewhere. You go where other companies are. You go where other community of founders are, in this case, because that was my ICCP. So I went there. So how to do the meetups? There's a ton of them happening, right? San Francisco is probably the land of meetups. I think they created the meetups here. I think how many meetups we had in the last 2 days or 3 days? 44 or so or something. There's a lot. So meetups are all there. Because there's a lot, there's always a lot of bad ones. Sorry about the word, they suck. So I was like, maybe I could set up one myself, because maybe it would be okay. And I did. I started to invite a lot of people. I cold mailed, sending messages on LinkedIn. I also went to other communities and started to ask them, like, hey, do you want to meet? And guess what? They do. They want to meet. So we started to connect. I did a first trial, and sorry for my guinea pigs. I don't know if there's anyone who was in the first meetup ever here from the community meetup. I was like, I try first a community that I know, so the community gang, see how it goes, see if the place is good. And it kind of worked. And then I started to scale and invite more people. And I think that's the 5th meetup for founders with about 45 people showing up every time. Pretty cool. I charge them $5 actually. So that includes making sure they'll show up. I tell them it's Fiverr, so I make sure that you come. So if you're RSVP, I know you're going to come. And 90% of people come. So if you want to do a meetup that people show up, charge them. Although we had an exception. Yesterday or the day before, we had like 95 people at the Nighthawk thing, and it was free. So you guys are probably like an exception because you're community builders. Cool. So did that. Ended up even meeting with Nas from Nas Daily Newsletter, if you know him. He does these videos. Crazy. I was like, damn, this guy, wow, that's working. Yeah, that's good. So first part, cool. How do they show up? We invite them. Simple as that. Usually, for each 3 invitations, you get 1 RSVP. So if you want to get 100 people, you invite 300. I wouldn't do 100 people. I would do 30 tops, so you can kind of like remember faces. Then meeting customers, very simple as well. You throw them a calendar invite. Say, hey, within the email that you send, the first email, I'm new here to the company, doing this research, working on this community thing. Do you have 50 minutes? And people start to book time, and then suddenly you have like calendar full of stuff going on. Gets busy, and energy goes down very quickly. So maybe you book 1 day of the week for that. Otherwise, you'd be like, don't even know what to say. And then meeting other communities. I was like, okay, I don't know much about compliance. I don't know much about persona exactly. It took me about 4 months to figure out what we do as a business. I was like, okay, it's not easy. So I was like, but I know a little bit about the business of founding, being like a founder or creating something, maybe communities as well. And I went to other communities. I said, can I help? Can I join and do things for you? So I went on Reddit, and there's a Reddit for startups where they talk about KYC, which is know your customer. That's the compliance boring term. I was like, I need no answer, but I would go to help centers of other companies and find the answer and then reply, just excluding the name of the company, just putting my company name. And I started to do that until I got enough karma so I could claim to be a moderator. And I became a sub-moderator at this Reddit channel. So that was one. There's a community called Everything Marketplaces. Marketplaces care about trust, so they care about verifying customers. So maybe it's a little bit of a trial for me. I went there and said, can I go and talk about building communities in marketplaces? They're like, sure, that's great. You do it for free? I was like, yeah. And there you go. You show up there. They're like, that's valuable. Where can I meet? Where can I connect? It's like, oh, there's a thing called Persona. Do you want to join? So simple. And a lot of Slack channels. I mean, there's probably like, 44 Slack communities for community managers. So you probably know all of them. And there's a lot as well for the KYC, the compliance, the founders, the all. So I was joining them. I was like, can I talk? Can I hang? And you start to be useful and helpful for them, and they start to connect back to you. And then suddenly, it starts to flow. So that was the first part, network. I started to meet people. Are you following? Is it making sense so far? You're like, this is too boring. Let's skip to the cool part. There's no cool part. Spoiler. Let's talk about tech. Okay, technology. Oh my God. God bless. Okay, so I think we're in the probably best of the times for technology. Yet, this is what we see, right? A lot of people complain that, oh, technology, damn, they don't have the right tools. Only if I had the right tool. Look at that. Look at that list of sponsors. I think all of them are tools. So I don't think tools is a problem. But my tools, when I started doing this, was this phone, literally, and WhatsApp, email, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a beast if you know how to use it. It's beautiful. It's so easy to connect with people. I think right now, maybe there's like 500 founders in the last 2 months I've been living here just because of the LinkedIn outreach, inviting them to meetups and whatnot. Very simple, very simple. You want to superpower this at some point, and yes, you can use all the tools that are all here around the globe. We use pretty much a lot now because that's more of like, how do I enhance what I've been doing, and the tools can help. And you can get to AI as well. Like, okay, who has the bingo card? AI. The AI thing, yeah, you can do AI so that can boost your usage as well, so you can get even more, because that automates, that helps you be more efficient, helps you do things that you would be repeating yourself a lot of times. So great, right? Now, what usually happens is this, right? A lot of people don't know where to go, and they're still looking for tools. So tools are just what the name says, like they're accessories. They're just add-ons to what you need to do. A lot of the times, you'll see that, like, oh, that's because I don't have the tool. If we change platforms, community is going to, oh my God, it's going to blow. It's going to be insane. Slack sucks. Or if you go to this other, I'll tell you, it's not. I mean, been doing that for a while, and it's always the same. You hear the same story over and over again. Tools are just support to what you know to do. The other part, I love this other sentence that I tried to translate. I learned this in Portuguese, so I was like, what's the best way to bring that up to in English? So if you don't know what you want or you're looking for, you're never going to find it. It's pretty simple, but back to, what's the best practice? So like, you ask a lot of questions, like, what's the best platform? What's the best tool? How much should I ask as a budget? What's the percentage of budget you use for your tool? Or whatever. Well, it doesn't matter, right? So far, zero. So far, no tools. So far, tools that everyone knows. Tiago Forte was talking here yesterday. We've been chatting for like 40 minutes, and then I was like, what's the best way? And I think Ivana the same. She was like, what's the best way to connect? And he was like, email. I was like, oh, you sure not Slack, not like Discourse, not, I don't know. Where do you go? Like, no. Email, that's it. Here's my phone. Most of you are like, oh, let's keep connected. What's your phone? What's your LinkedIn? No one's saying like, what's your Slack? No one's saying like, what's your, I don't know, other tool, any name, right? So it's pretty simple. Like, you don't need the tools. I'm sorry, all the sponsors. I mean, they're great tools. I love you all. So it's just that you don't need that yet. You need that later. You know what I mean? Okay, so the third one, and that's probably like the one that makes no sense. Why no plan, right? Who here has created a plan and changed that plan a year later, or even less than a year later? It can be for life, for your community, for a lot of things. So like, I had a plan. This is my plan. A year later, like, this is no longer the plan, right? Jack Ma, who is the founder of Alibaba, he actually has a talk where he talks about no money, no tech, and no plan. And the reason why is because Alibaba wanted to compete with Google AdSense. The team was like, great, we're going to compete with AdSense. So you can buy ads through our Alibaba platform. So the team was like, okay, so we need roughly $3 million, 60 servers. They're like, no. No money. You figure it out. Go on, I don't know, Craigslist, find a computer, secondhand, make that your server, go lock yourselves in a room, figure it out. No money, no tech. I'm not going to give you anything. Go figure it out. And they had to do it, and they made it. And usually, when you have a lot of money, it's easy to just dump money on it. Or if you think about technologies like, I'll dump technologies and that will figure it out for me. I'll do an AI thing here, and that is going to be creating my automated messages to say hello to my members. But you shouldn't even know like what to say to them. Right? And if your plan is changing, why do you need all of that? So no plan sometimes is good. And I'll share a little story here with you guys. I mean, this is all I tried with plans, and none worked. Sorry if any of you creators of these tools are here. I love you all as well, but it didn't work for me. You can really quickly go back to this down spiral, right? So back to what I said at the beginning. I could feel, damn, I have no plan, I have nothing. I know not one. But I'll share a little story, which helped me a lot throughout this year. Probably before, but now he's becoming even more prominent in my life. That's from Benjamin Zander. He's the conductor of an orchestra, the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra. Anyone knows or heard of Benjamin Zander? Okay, great. So no spoilers yet. So Benjamin Zander said, okay, he wrote a book which is great. I recommend. It's called The Art of Possibility. And he says, well, research is telling us that only 3% of people like classical music. And classical musics die. No one is producing new classical music. There's no new appreciators of classical music. The number is going down. If we only could go into 4%, maybe we can recover it, and maybe we can survive as musicians, as conductors, because that's going down and down. And you can feel like the energy going down, the down spiral. And he says, what if? How would you walk? How would you talk? How would you be if you had this mindset of, everyone here loves classical music. They just don't know about it yet. It changes possibilities. It changes how you even perceive the challenge. And I was like, I like that. So I can adapt this to my world, make it very tech-centric. What if every founder loves persona? They just don't know about it yet, right? That can be a hypothesis. I was like, this is my mission now. And that's my mission to help me formulate what I'm going to do next. So I started doing Academy, which is like teaching people how to use persona. I had no idea how to do it. I had to learn. And I'm still figuring out, and I'll tell you. And the very basics of it, but I was like, I'm going to do it. The best way to learn is by teaching. And I was like, I'll learn this thing and teach everything that I'm learning. Because I'm probably going through the same struggles that everyone who doesn't know about the tool will have. I'm going to give visibility to my customers. I'm going to create podcasts where I'm going to invite them. Because the more people who find out about us and will love us, they just don't know about it yet. And I'm going to do meetups and talk about us. And the meetups will be a little bit like no agenda, like let's come, let's talk, let's be friends. And then we're probably going to find something interesting here. And we did it. And funny enough, talking here to a lot of people, I know there's someone who could potentially be a customer, right? Because it's a part of the business. But again, I didn't plan for that. I was just like being here. And maybe she will love persona, and then we'll be a customer. Who knows? And then you evolve, right? So tools and all start to help you. So now we have other tools. We use Segment, if you have heard of it, which helps a lot because it can track specific events in the product. Very, very technical. I'll try and be very simple. So essentially, if, let's say, someone is doing a feature A and they click on feature B, I get a notification and I can send them a message saying, oh, looks like you're interested in this feature B. Let's chat. And then it goes back to like producing this community connection with them. So having said that, I kind of wanted to share like a little thing that may go against a lot of what you guys are hearing today, which is in the measurement world, usually you have to set a goal, be very focused, strive for it. But then in the universe of possibility, you set a context and then let life unfold. So that's my takeaway for you all. Thank you.